Today's episode is something that I've been so excited, genuinely excited to explore, a bridge between what I would kind of call ancient cosmic intelligence and our everyday self-care. And I couldn't think of a better time and a better guest. So we are going to be talking about medical astrology and homeopathic medicine. Hi, and welcome to Empowerment Unleashed Now, exploring your inner authority. We are at episode 64, friends, and it is titled Cosmic Prescriptions Using Medical Astrology and Homeopathy in Everyday Life. Our guest today is Kira Sutherland. Yay! Thank you for having me. Thank you, Kira. So I just am going to welcome our listeners back to a space where we actually are able to go on and reclaim our inner authority. We can listen to the wisdom of the body here, and we can remember that empowerment isn't something that we earn. It is something that we activate. Today's episode is something that I've been so excited, genuinely excited to explore, a bridge between what I would kind of call ancient cosmic intelligence and our everyday self-care. And I couldn't think of a better time and a better guest. So we are going to be talking about medical astrology and homeopathic medicine, not as something that's intimidating or esoteric or something that's not accessible, but something that's like super practical. Yeah. And so I couldn't imagine a better guide to lead us in this time together. Thank you, Kira. Thank you. Thank you. I just want to give you a little intro, my friend, because there's so much to say about you because you have such an extensive background. But Kira Sutherland is a medical astrologer. She's a naturopath. And
wait, Michelle, just to be clear for all your listeners, I'm an Australian naturopath, not an American naturopath. I just want to make that really clear.
Yes.
Because I can get in trouble. Yeah.
That's right. For our listeners in Australia, you actually know what Kira does. Yeah. For us here, we wish we knew more about it, Kira. Yeah. So it's part of where we're going to speak, but thank you for that correction. Yeah. But I also want people to know about you as an educator that helps to really weave together astrology, herbalism, nutrition, naturopathy, and homeopathy, kind of all integrated into one fabulous, healing approach and person that is you, my friend. So Kira, welcome to Empowerment Unleashed Now. Again, thank you.
I'm excited to be here.
Thank you, friend. What are you feeling most excited about and empowered by in your life at this time? We ask everybody.
Ooh, what am I feeling most empowered about? I think, I just think this year, 2026, is feeling pretty fresh. It's feeling, last year was really heavy for a lot of people, all kinds of reasons why, but health-wise as well. I feel like everyone felt kind of stuck, or they were letting go of a lot of stuff. It was a big ending year. And I just feel like this, even though we are January when we're recording this, but there just is a better feel to it moving forward. I think people are going to be able to kind of action things and get it done this year, whereas last year was like a tidying up year.
Oh my gosh. I love that. I love that you have that perspective because, it's like empowerment begins when we believe here, when you stop outsourcing the authority. And so right off the bat, you're saying hey, this is going to be an action-oriented year. Yeah. You're going to be able to kind of clean things up that maybe were a little bit messy in the housekeeping department last year. One of the things that I love to do for our listeners is I love to bring what we're talking about into their daily lives. So if we could just go to kind of the body as a cosmic map. Yeah. It's very, very intriguing to me. And so how can somebody who's using astrology and the intersect with medical astrology begin to learn about inflammation, their digestion, right? Yeah. Stress, hormones, the general, what you probably would hear, and probably emotional cycles, right? That you hear a lot about as well. And so how can we begin to use medical astrology and not be astrologers like you, right? Because so many
Yeah.
people are intimidated by the complexity
Yeah.
of this, but you're really good at layering. So help us, my friend, without being an astrologer. How can we understand?
So, I mean, the basics of medical astrology is the idea that different parts of the body are ruled by different signs or different energetics, like signs like Aries, Taurus, Gemini, or by different planets, Mars, Venus, the moon, the sun, stuff like that. So that's kind of the numbers. If we're playing with math, those are the numbers we have to deal with. But with each body, we're looking at how do I explain this? Basically, we're kind of just looking at how each of us, the day we're born, the energetics, or the way I talk about medical astrology, let me back up because I'm starting too confused. It's kind of like the mathematical blueprint of the universe the day you were born, your own astrology. So and that's why we're all so different. You know, some of us have more heat, some have more cold, there's dry, there's wet. So it's not about understanding all of crazy astrology because it can take years to study that. It goes back to the basics of one of the ways I do it with people is the elements, you know, earth, fire, air, water, and how we have those different ratios in our body, or depending on what season we're in, even if we don't understand our own. Like right now, we're in winter in North America. And so that's cold and dry. And so we're looking at warming, moistening things to counterbalance that. So our medical astrology, as much as you can go really deep, we also can bring it back to like working with nature and the elements in our own body and just trying to live in sync with the seasons, or living in sync with our own physical bodies, depending on what decade of life we're in. There's just so many different ways to look at it. That was probably way too broad, but anyway.
No. It's brilliant because, you know, obviously a lot of people know, especially women, we know about moon phases, right?
Yeah.
We don't always connect though, like moon phases and emotional digestion,
Yeah.
like things that you begin like fire signs and inflammation, you know,
Yeah.
starting to connect to me astrology back to the body. Because so one of the things that I believe for just the little while that I've been kind of delving into
Yeah.
astrology is that it's a cosmic blueprint, like a celestial little like
Yeah. It's like a
print of who we are. It's our heaven sent roadmap,
Mm.
and our constitution has to be written into that,
Yeah.
just as whatever other heavenly kind of contracts we agree to.
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, most of us know our sun sign. You know, when people are like, oh, are you a Capricorn? Are you an Aquarius? That's based on where the sun was when you were born. So if we were going to go to the basics of medical astrology, we could do what it was the sun. And then you could look up, you could literally Google or go to like astro.com, which is a big website where you can put in your birth data, and it'll tell you what the moon, what sign the moon was in. And even just knowing those two are really powerful for working with our health, because our sun is like, it's our core constitution. It's who we are. It's our core energy and vitality. And then our moon is our emotions. It's our little kind of emotional backpack of needs that we want to fill every day. But it's also the moon, you know, it's emotions, it's our digestion, which you talked about before. So it's actually how we, you know, and to have our whole digestive system and our emotions be interlinked with one planet is phenomenal to think about. Because when we talk about, oh, people are a emotional eater, or we eat certain foods to try to change how we actually physiologically feel, so much of science is now proving for us what we've always known since Egyptian times or even Babylonian times around astrology and the links to its rulership. So it's just knowing your sun and the moon are really, moon is also like your habits, good and bad, or positive, and things that, you know, get in our way. So just by working on the sun and the moon and learning about those astrologically, people can do a ton with their health on a daily basis.
I love that because see, that's like the intersect for me where we can take this information and in a tangential, like a kind of way, it takes us to this new place, but yet back to our inner authority, back to our own empowerment, taking back like the Constitution. Because I was so intrigued. So, I'm an 11-degree Cancer, right? Sun,
Yeah.
and I'm an 8-degree like Libra moon.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm a Gemini rising.
Yeah.
And I have little stelliums in Gemini and Virgo. And there was something that you had said. I was listening to you in an interview prior, Kira, and in the green room, we were talking about this with my astrologer and a teacher friend of mine, Christopher Witecki.
Yeah.
And you had talked about, like a placement of like Neptune, like in Scorpio, right? Like, or no, rather, I believe it was the 6th house. Mine just happens to be in Scorpio, like in my 6th house.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, so that would explain my contract of why I had to half die to live.
Yeah.
And kind of walk through. So like I'm intrigued because I was just listening to you on a podcast like our listeners are doing. Yeah. And like I started to connect. And then when I delved into your work more, and I was just like, and this is so like cursory, this is like pre-kindergarten question, okay?
Yeah,
this is
but
like
those are the best.
Well, sometimes this is like it could be a blonde out of the bottle moment. You haven't heard the question yet. Here. So, I work with my clients. I'm a colon hygienist and I'm a hypnotherapist, right? So I help people to change and to listen to their gut. Like it's just whatever they got to do to literally get in balance with that. But I can say that based on certain blood types, like I can read somebody's intake form. And I can like guess, like, and it's a guess, what their blood type is. Or how did you know that? It's just patterns, habits, behaviors, right? So I wanted to know because literally when I speak to my clients that are summer babies that live in North America, okay, especially like the July babies, the heat of summer, when we hit January, right. And of course, so like some people call it your descendant. I call it like my complementary. Like that's to bring me into like a full circle of it. So like I had to intentionally make friends with old man effing winter because I didn't like him.
It's not part of your nature. Yeah. So astrologically, that's easy to explain. It's not a simple question. I mean, it's not a baby question.
Okay.
So wherever we're born, like you're born in, I can calculate it. So you're born in early-ish July.
Yes. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
So, what happens is every year when we come back to our birthday, which in astrology we call your solar return, right? Like the sun has come back to the position it was. It's a really powerful day. Like as much as everybody loves to, most people love to celebrate birthdays. It's actually a very great health day. It's a day to kind of, it's like our own January 1st, right? It's a reset for the whole year. And it's great to take some time to the self, give to the self. And then what happens is when we get to the opposite time of the year from when we're born. So for summer babies say that more than anybody I know because they want that sun and that's what they're used to. So they're the ones that often have a harder time with winter. But for everybody, the exact opposite to your birthday, when the sun is literally in opposition, if we were looking at a circular chart, the sun is exactly opposite where we were born. That's actually one of the hardest days of the year for us. But even a week either side can be quite hard. So it's low energy. We can feel a bit melancholic. It feels hard. And because we're at that opposition or it's not legally the descendant to your sun, because the descendant is legally opposite your ascendant.
Oh, right, right, right,
But what
right.
you're talking about, it's the same wording though. It's that opposition.
Yeah.
So it's very depleting. We often get sick on that day or right near there, and we kind of hibernate. And it's a day to be gentle with ourselves for other reasons.
Yes.
That yeah.
Oh God, you're explaining because so for
Yeah.
years I would go to Costa Rica and
Yeah.
I would leave like December. So I'm a Gemini ascendant.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, there is my like descendant. And I'd be like, okay,
Yeah.
see you guys maybe around March,
Yeah.
when the sun returns.
Yeah.
And I literally
Yeah.
think that I healed myself most in
Yeah.
those periods because the earth, correct me if I'm wrong, is in Cancer, right? When the sun is in Capricorn,
Yes.
right?
Capricorn and Cancer are opposite. So yeah, when the sun is in Capricorn, that's when you're having the hardest time.
Yeah.
And so for everybody, whatever sign is that opposite,
Yes.
and we need to learn about that opposite sign, but it's often it's hard, right? It's all astrology is about the integration of opposites, but again, it's very depleting that time of year. So yeah, absolutely.
So filling ourselves up at that time of year and being in awareness of that and tapping into like the earth and what she can give to us, because if that's where you kind of are, that's interesting. Okay.
And
Because
not pushing hard. It's not the time to do your biggest projects. It's not the time to be launching stuff. It's more take the time to be more internal. Also, the 2 to 3 weeks before your birthday every year are also, they're a little bit draining, or, we're kind of assessing what went on in the year, even if we're not even realizing we're doing it. But that's also a really common time to people get colds and flus. It's a time to have really low energy, and that's okay too. It's about knowing those are coming. And I'm not saying everyone's going to get sick, but just acknowledging on a daily basis, oh, these are my kind of recovery time. Let's be more gentle with myself before that rebirth. And I think I was talking about this the other day with somebody. We've lost the art of rest and the art of what we call, I'm going to say, convalescence. Convalescence was like taking time out after you've been acutely sick. It's the I'm not sick, but I'm not better yet resting period. And society doesn't let us have that anymore. Just like it doesn't let us have that resting period before we push forward on our birthday. And there's an art to being okay with resting that I think our poor little nervous systems and our immune systems need. We ask so much of ourselves in 2026, 2025. We forget because we beat ourselves up on this achievement society that is it okay to do nothing, right?
Right. Yeah. I think that it's the Danish, right, that have like this art of just being.
Yeah.
It's like of just doing like nothing.
Yeah.
And that's a very interesting. So let me ask you, is there any truth to like, fire signs might have some more inflammation in their body. Like, water signs might have like lymphatic and digestive. Like, could you speak to that? You were speaking about nervous systems. I'm like, is that like about air signs?
Yeah, that's air. I mean, we all have every system, but
within us.
But depending on our astrological makeup, we put pressure on some systems more than others. So like the fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, and I'm one of those. We're fiery. We do, it's an intensity. It's about movement and action. It's spirit in action. But we do also we're hot and dry. So there's more of this inflammation that can happen, or we have more redness. I mean, everybody has inflammation because we have the planet Mars is really in charge of inflammation. But yeah, so a lot of fire signs, like I can't eat really spicy food because I have so much fire. It will just aggravate everything. Whereas I love really cold food. And when you learn naturopathically and health, everyone's like, You should never have cold water. It should always be tepid, or, it's so bad for your digestion. Well, if you're already a cold constitution, absolutely. But if you're a really hot constitution, that cold is actually really balancing. In health, as much as I'm a naturopath nutritionist, health is not one size fits all. And,
Right. That's
and,
right.
you as a little Cancerian, that's water. So the water signs, Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio, that's cold, that's damp, it's nourishing, it's nurturing, but it's fluids, and you're going to be more
Yes.
sensitive to fluids. You'll be sensitive to the lymphatic system and how things flow in the body. So when things aren't flowing, and water is also emotions. As fire is action, water is emotions. So emotional things are really going to potentize what's going on for you more than maybe some other signs. And not that we don't all have emotions, but yeah, you're going to be more influenced. You're going to get upset, and the Cancers are going to go off and eat to try to change how they emotionally feel, right? That's their go-to, is that stomach. So they're going to need, water signs need more warming up. They need, more warm drinks or warming foods and gingers and garlics and stuff, because it's the opposite to that constitution. We have air, which is thinking, right? It's communication, it's thinking, and that's the nervous system, is literally how the body communicates with itself, plus hormones. So the airs are going to get really wound up and be ungrounded. And air is warm, and it's actually considered moist in like steam, like steam or humidity. So they need a little bit of drying, but they're already quite warm. So they also need that cooling. They need grounding. They can be very up in their brain and forget that they have a physical body. So root vegetables and grounding things, and, discharging their nervous system energy is important for them. And then what haven't we done? Earth. So Earth is cold and dry. It's Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo. And each one is quite its own thing, but it's easier to do the elements. So they need warming, and they need moisture, and, oils and fats, as well as warm. Like, I always think of cooking things in a slow cooker, so it's digested really. You're adding in a lot of deep heat, but it needs some, olive oil or coconut oil in there, some nuts or something for that moisture as well. And earths can get stuck very in the physical and get a little bit stubborn and stagnant. And so they need almost more fire, fire and air, but they need that warming to get them moving and doing and up a little bit, because it's more of that melancholic nature.
I love that. That's so interesting to
The
me.
elements are they're so beautiful on their own. Forget all of astrology, just the elements.
It's brilliant, because rather than saying like, what's wrong with me, you actually have shifted the conversation to like, what is actually like, what's my body responding to within me and within me in a season? Like there's, because there's a lot of shame and blame that we play in this game of like spirit housing our meat suit, as I say. Like, and so I'm loving this. Do you have any general recommendations? And I know this might be like kind of out of your wheelhouse because it's Chinese astrology, but in the year of the fire horse, because like Kira, for instance, I mean, we have hit this and like, I feel it. Like, we had a lovely woman a couple of weeks ago, Marie Diamond from The Secret. She's like the feng shui guru.
Oh, yeah.
Like in this, right?
Yeah.
So she said like, hey, you need to put like a horse like in like the south side of like your living room. So like I now have like a horse statue that's sitting on the piano, right? Like I'm embracing it because I know that my air, horses are one of my spirit animals anyway. I've been privileged enough that I've only seen it once, but I saw a wild herd out in Nevada.
Yeah.
And when you see a stampede like that in a herd, you're like gifted their
Yeah.
medicine. So I know that I'm supposed to embrace it. However, as the little Cancerian, and I'm in Aries in my North node, so I know I'm supposed to be learning about my fire, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
embracing it. But it was like we started this shift into the fire horse, and I was like, oh my God, I've got to get into bathtubs like every day with Epsom salt. Like it feels so fiery. And at the
Yeah.
same it was an interesting, and I don't know if it's just like my constitution and who I am, or if it tied to. So I wanted to ask you.
Oh, interesting. So I don't do Chinese medicine at all. So to comment on fire horse, it would be very negligent for me to comment on fire horse.
I understand.
But what I will take it to astrologically, and it's interesting that it's happened. So I'm not good with Chinese medicine. So I'll like, especially what years we're in, besides like what year I'm born in. Um, but we have some really big shifts happening this year astrologically anyway, that kind of, it's
Yes.
always interesting to how they run secret synchronicity.
Totally.
each
With
other.
Saturn and
Saturn and
Neptune.
Neptune. So Saturn is the planet, for those that don't know, Saturn is cold and dry, and people are really scared of Saturn. It's fear, it's restriction, it's boundaries, it's hard work, it's father time. But Saturn also has a side where it's like structure and hard
Yes.
work in a good way. Like hard work.
I
pays
love
off.
him. I love
I
him.
do too. I
Saturn
have a
is
huge thing about Saturn.
my Saturn's in Aries, so I live with it.
So we haven't had this discussion, and we don't need to say it here, but I have a feeling you and I are born within a year of each other, because everything you're saying, I'm like, that's pretty close to my chart.
Yes, probably.
So yeah, we'll talk about that off air. So Saturn is in Aries for me too, but Saturn form and structure, and he makes us, he's about having limits and boundaries. And when I'm working with people in their health, I often want to use their Saturn because it gives them structure and it makes them stick to things. You know, if we didn't have, the opposite of Saturn medically is Jupiter, which is so fun and big and bold and fertile, but it has no limits and it overeats and it overdrinks. Whereas Saturn is who you use in weight loss or restrictive diets or just getting better boundaries around what you're doing with your health. Saturn would also be lifting weights. And we have Saturn has been in Pisces for the last 2.5 years, and it's just, or 3 years, and it's just moving into Aries. It was there a little bit last year. We got this taste and then it went away, and it's coming back. And Aries is the first sign of the, like we're at the doorway to the zodiac with 2 major planets, and that doesn't happen often. So 0 degrees Aries, this exact point, Saturn's coming through. So we're starting this massive 30-year cycle for everybody about what we want to create and what we're doing. And I love that Saturn, he's going to dry out a bit in Aries and get to work. And I love that that's happening in the beginning of this year, as well as we have Neptune, which is, you know, which has been in Pisces for a long time. I can't remember how long, but Neptune is no boundaries and dreams and intuition and psychic ability, but it's your immune system. It's addictions, it's drugs, it's, I'm not saying that's what everybody has, but it's has no boundaries, and it's not very action oriented, and it gets lost, and it's big dreams, but it's also a bit wafty and has some illusion to it. And it's been at its home in Pisces, which has been divine, but it's now moving into Aries. And it's like we're going to be able to ground some of that intuition and actually do stuff with it. And I think it's going to be easier to take care of our health with these 2 things moving into Aries. We're going to be actioned into, like, it's time to do stuff, right? It's stop talking about it, stop dreaming about it, and get it into the, because Aries is the first sign, is coming into the physical body and the reality of being in on the earth plane. And as much as we love being in the spirit world, you have to take care of that physical body or you don't get to be here, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
That's exactly right. So, there's an interesting theory that's out there that I'd be intrigued to hear from you.
Yeah.
So there's a guy, he's called the human, is it the human design maven? Yeah, that's how
Okay.
he,
Yep.
human design maven.
Yeah.
And he believes that, and he did a calculation where you actually set your north node
Yeah.
to zero,
To zero
right?
Aries.
To zero
Yeah.
Aries.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
zero it and
I know
you
exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
into 5D and see, like, if you redo your chart at 0 degrees Aries,
Yeah.
like, who are you? Do you believe that we have this opportunity?
So he must be lecturing on that, but that's actually quite an old technique. So
Yes,
I
it
would be
is.
surprised. Okay. Okay.
Yes, it is.
Okay. That's called a draconic
Draconian.
chart. Draconic chart. Yeah. Yeah. And it's fascinating to look at. Like, there's so many different ways to look at somebody's astrology chart. Once you have, the circle wheel that's been done, there's all these ways we calculate and look at other parts of ourselves and what we're evolving to. And the draconic chart is quite fascinating. And I do like it. It just gives you another flavor to understand yourself. Do I think it's more important than your natal chart? No. I think your natal chart is absolutely the core of who you are, but it gives you another lens to look at things through. And I've been in a workshop once, just this year, someone was teaching a draconic workshop, and I know about it, but I wanted to hear what, it's always good to learn from other people. And everyone in that room was really talking about, it just gave them a deeper insight into who they were. It kind of added that next flavor to it, but it didn't undo who they were. And timing, they said, was interesting to look at it. Yeah.
Timing is fascinating. So I've had that chart done, and I've looked at it, and
But it wouldn't change your chart that much. If you're already at Aries North Node, what degree is your North Node?
So my North Node, I think is it 14?
Okay, so you're born in like, can I say what year you're born?
Oh, of course you could say
You're
what
born in
year.
like 19, that would make 69?
Yes.
68. Okay.
68.
Yeah.
So I am fascinated by this because I could recognize myself. And, what I was intrigued by, just like being a polymath person, is the fact that if you look at where Saturn and Neptune have hit 0 degrees Aries, this is an astronomical occurrence that's happening.
It is.
It's astronomical. I think the calculations were 4,000 plus years.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so I'm just thinking to myself, wow, this is really kind of the opportunity for us to see ourselves as the experts on ourselves.
I love the idea of overlapping draconic chart into what we're talking about right now as well. And it is, we are living at an apex. It's an apex year is what I would say for everybody. I mean, numerologically, it's a 1 year as well. If people are into I'm not great at numerology, but I do know it's a 1 year, which is a starting year. But 0 degrees Aries is it's the birth of that whole zodiac. And when you go from 29 Pisces, because there's no 30, somehow, for those of you who don't know, in astrology, there's 30 degrees to each sign, but we go from 0 degrees to 29 degrees. And I'll be honest, I don't even know why we do that, but I kind of love it. So 29 to 0, Pisces to Aries, is like the bridge of everything we've learned in the previous cycle, ending in, deep spirituality and intuition in that Pisces, bridging into the incarnating spirit at 0 Aries. And it's like, it's so potent. I do love it. I do love the idea of the draconic chart. I'm just talking about myself personally. My node is already at 0 Aries. I'm born with 0 degrees Aries node. So the draconic chart does nothing to my chart.
I love that.
It only moves by 10 minutes, which, and I've talked to other astrologers about it, and it's such a beautiful, I feel very blessed to have been born with that there, because
Yes.
sometimes it just feels like I get to tap in straight back to all that Pisces, straight into the Aries. And it's like, it's an easy access tap for me, but I need to
Yeah.
use it for good, for not that I would not use it for good, but there's that drive that I've got to, there's that urge of that zero Aries within my chart.
I feel like, you're kind of like an ambassador for like the Aquarian age, because I feel like that's when the collective consciousness has the opportunity in terms of alignment
Yeah.
to say, okay, cool, let's all jump into this together because we're all kind of in that now, zeroed out, if you will,
Yeah.
with ego
And we have that
and
opportunity
spirit is full.
in this year to pull all that spirit in to the physical and move forward. And I think it's just a really, not that we have to do lots in this year, but it's a pivotal year to be awake and aware of what we're doing and our consequences. And I just feel really lucky that, and I don't know anything else, right? We're born with what we're born, but I have this ability to take all the things I learn, and it's really easy to kind of layer it on top of each other and then see what's happening with that. So it's, for me, it's a natural layering process, but I'm pretty excited for this year. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And, one of the things that's so numerologically, just according to the step system, to give listeners just additional perspectives, because there are many out there. For Christopher Witecki's system, it would be we're in a 10-year, which is a master manifestation year, right? It's a master Taurus degree. Theme of the day seems to be Taurus, Kira. Before we were together today, I've been with the herd. I've been with 3 little moo-moos today, one of which was Christopher Witecki one meeting. So yeah, kind of ironic. So yeah, I think they're supposed to be coming up today, but I feel like what is really interesting about this too, this conversation that I've been loving, is that there's this informed view of our sensory, physical perceptions of ourselves tied to this roadmap that we agreed to in heaven. I feel like it shifts. For instance, I have this conversation with my father. He unfortunately gets used as a host of things sometimes, what not to do, but he's like, I'm willing to be that teacher for you.
Some of my family members are like that. Yeah.
And so, Dad and I have spoken about this, and he's a Virgo, and Dad, he is a way Virgo. He's a master. Dad is a 22-degree Virgo, and it's an interesting, so like an Aquarian-led Virgo, but he doesn't know how he feels in his body. That's what he says to me. Right? He practiced yoga for a lot of years, then he stopped, and then he kind of like lost that barometer. So he says to me, one of the reasons that I have to quote unquote go to the doctor so much is because like I could be having like an AFib and I'm like, no, I'm fine. I feel good. Like he just doesn't know. Right.
Yeah.
And so like no fear there. It's just, he doesn't know. But I think that a lot of people that might not feel like they know also have fear. And I feel like so much wellness content that's out there today in social media is super, super fear driven. And I just want to know, how can we use the tools to be vigilant and mindful rather than kind of hyper vigilant or like obsessive? Like, I think that's like the first part of like having our spirit and like our little meat suit exist lovingly.
Yeah.
Is to not freak out about it. So somewhere between myself knowing a lot and Dad being like, I don't know. There's got to be that middle ground.
Where's that instruction manual? Yeah. And, health is scary and it's hard, and health is a lot of hard work, right? And we don't like to admit that, but it is. And we can go decades of our life. Like there's some people with constitutions, and your dad might have been one of these people, There's people with constitutions where nothing ever goes wrong for decades, right?
He was, right.
And drives me insane because I'm not that constitution, but that's another story. But you get these people that are like, I can do anything and I'm always fine. So why should I pay attention, right? Because it's not, they're busy doing other things or creating or thinking or, nothing's broken. So they don't know they have to fix it. I've had this conversation a lot lately in a different realm of until we're in pain, we don't make a lot of change. It's the very unusual person who's like, I'm going to make lots of change, even though I'm not in pain. I just want to make change for better. That would be awesome. But often we need some deadline or motivation, or we need to be in pain or unwell to scare us into making change. And I have to admit, in Western society, we're not given very good instructions on our physical body. Like our general education, we know a lot more about, English literature and calculus than we do about human physiology. And we've also been kind of taught to be scared of our bodies, or they're so confusing, you'll never understand it. So leave that to the experts, which is really sad because if we on a daily basis, okay, I'm going to take it back to what can we do? If we take it back to a daily basis and just checking in with ourselves, or what is my energy level like, or how did I sleep? If we go back to the true basics, which I can do, we're going to be so much healthier than listening to like, oh my God, am I supposed to have kale? Am I supposed to have celery? Am I supposed to drink coffee on an empty stomach or not? How many hours should I fast? There's so much freaking health information out there. It's frightening and it's confusing, and it all is telling you different things because everything works differently for each person, right? So there is no, and then we get all the biohackers that are like, oh, we can do all this. And I'm like, let's stay to the basics. Like no one's even doing the basics anymore because we're so busy. So if we were to go back to it, I'm going to bring it back to astrology too. It's one of my favorite things. The days of the week, I'm totally jumping topics on you here, but days of the week, but I'm not.
I love
days of the week are associated with the 7 traditional planets and sun and moon, right? Like Sunday is literally the sun. Monday is the moon. I'll do this. Tuesday is Mars. Wednesday is Mercury. Thursday is Jupiter. Friday is Venus. Saturday is Saturn. And if I do a little workshop on this, I'll write a bigger article on, actually, there's an article on this that just got published in the Mountain Astrologer, TMA, which is this big astrology magazine, literally has the article that I wrote on doing this. And it's about taking each day of the week and focusing on one part of your health. Because if I'm like, go on a diet for 12 weeks, do this, don't eat this, it's too much for people. We don't want long-term goals. But what if each day of the week, we try to flow with the energy of like Saturday, so let's go, Sunday is the sun. So going out in the sunshine, making sure circadian rhythm, sun getting into the eyes, helps with your sleep-wake cycle. Make sure you get enough sleep on a Sunday. Like doing little things each day to nourish ourselves based on the planets.
Yes.
What it does is it makes health a little sacred ritual every day, right?
Love that.
And we all, listening to a podcast like yours, we're interested in spirit. We're interested in the sacred. But working with the days of the week is almost like bringing the sacred back into the body in a Virgo daily ritual way, because health is boring and it's exhausting. But if you did one little thing each day based around astrology, not like what's happening in the world, but just your little body and what works for you. On Mondays, it's emotional nourishing day, and you could do it's a great day to do cooking or baking or calling your friends, calling your mom or a female figure in your life, like it's a nourishing day. It's not And I know everyone goes to work and, not everyone's work schedule is perfect, but Monday isn't, it's horrible that the work week starts that day because yes, it's a soft, nourishing day where we'd be better off in a bathtub with Epsom salts, but there's ways to be gentler on a Monday. Don't schedule your hard meetings. Whereas Tuesday, which is Mars, is about action and drive. It's a great day to do sport. It's a great day to go to the gym, do your tough meetings where you need clarity. And so it's about playing with your week, whether it's the things you do or the things you do for yourself. It's really fun to do it that way. Yeah.
It's fabulous. I was thinking about, like in Latin, base languages, I was like, okay, yeah, the planets are built in, you can hear, and Mercury. Okay, that is an incredible tip because honestly, to be able to bring it in, like you're saying daily, as you were speaking, I was thinking about like the songs of the week that people write, like Manic Monday, like the Monday blues, and people talk about the Sunday scaries, and it happens as soon as the sun goes down. It's very interesting to just those rhythms and to begin to connect them.
And it's interesting because Saturn, which is Saturday, everybody celebrates Saturday and we all go do sport and we're social.
Yeah.
Whereas
cut loose,
Friday, which is Venus.
Venus.
That's your big, lusty, go enjoy yourself, eat, pleasure. Venus is about pleasure, is so much more lusty than Saturday. And Saturdays are a great day to get work done at home or do your yard work or whatever, but it's quite a formal day. And then Saturday can be a bit more celebratory. Again, it's an interesting, is it in China or Japan? Saturday is one of the big work days, and then the kind of pleasure starts on the Saturday, the Sunday. I can't remember which. A couple cultures, Saturday is a big work day.
And then you would have in the Middle East, you'd have parts that it would be Sabbath, right? Where it's total rest day, right? And then you go into Sunday. It's very interesting to connect that. I love that.
You could line it up with a lot of cultures, actually.
Completely.
Probably energetically do that. Yes.
We have listeners that are across a lot of countries. And so I'm intrigued as to what y'all are hearing while Kira's putting this out there and bringing this forward. So, oh my gosh, Kira, this has been so great. Before you get away from us, I have got to do, there's a mandatory we have very few mandatory things. Nothing is mandatory. I say I don't want to do it. It's fine. I was a Montessori educator. You're allowed to.
I love that. That's totally Montessori. You should do this, but I don't have to.
You don't have to. It'd be fun if you did it, but it's up to you. You're in charge of you. So it's our little lightning round. And it's just really answering, and you're going to be incredible at this, the first thing that comes to you. Okay. So what does the body most want for us to remember right now?
That it wants you to be kind to yourself.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Up.
Kindness. Yes. One daily practice that supports cosmic body alignment.
Oh, waking up and not rushing. In society, we kind of wake up with the alarm and then we go, and then clients come in and my nervous system's out of control, or I'm not sleeping, I'm not. Wake up and just be if you can time it for 30 minutes, even if you have to wake up earlier, and just be and have a cup of warm, whatever you have, and just allow the body to wake up and kind of tell you where it's feeling and check in with yourself in that first half hour of sacredness. That's actually one of my favorite things to get people to do. And those people that have constipation, you won't have constipation anymore.
Life-changing. I will tell my clients that too, that don't pick up the phone. That's a big one. Big tip there, y'all. Okay.
Wait. No phone in that half hour.
No phone. No, that's social. Especially the first thing.
Go read a magazine, read a book for pleasure, but it's just check in and be. You don't have to meditate. You don't have to.
No.
Yeah.
I tell people, put your Bible on your phone, put your favorite book on your phone, put your meditation on top of your phone, put stuff on top of your phone so you touch that first before you touch that thing. Wait
Yeah.
30 minutes. It can be life changing. What's a misconception about astrology that you would love to dissolve?
Ooh, misconception about astrology that we are only our sun sign. Everyone's like, oh my God, I don't believe that. Or that every Gemini is a certain way or whatever. It's not one size fits all. It's 1,000 parts for each person. So
Brilliant.
yeah.
Yes. What's a sign the body is asking? What is it trying to tell us? Like a sign that is asking for gentle care?
Ooh. A headache or indigestion, like any little symptom that we just excuse, indigestion, diarrhea, a lot of burping, a headache, all of those little symptoms are like a flag post of your body going, I just need you to pay attention. So instead of just ignoring the little symptoms, try to ask the body what it wants to tell you.
Yes, that's beautiful. Thank you. And one word, my friend, that would describe empowered healing.
Oh. One word that, I'm not going very fast here. One word that would describe empowered healing. Just, I want to say initiation, but that's not the right, like initiating, doing, just start. It's not about fixing everything. It's like baby stepping, just initiating that you're going to take care of yourself.
I love it. Initiating. Yeah. That's a brilliant way.
And no, you're making up words, so hopefully that's a whole word.
No, it's fabulous. My Gemini rising loves that.
I made up some word yesterday, which I wish I could remember, which was hilarious.
My gosh. Well, one of the things that I want to do, Kira, is I just want to thank you like so much for bringing like such clarity, such depth, and like just some real grounded, practical, day-to-day wisdom that we can like integrate into our lives. Thank you so much for this conversation.
It's been fun.
Oh, it's been a blast. And for our dear listeners, I just want that, for you folks to really hear that health is not about like doing this perfectly. No. It's not about like the do's, the don'ts. It's about becoming aware. It's about becoming curious. And mostly it's about becoming compassionate and empowered within the self to know that you get to be the expert on you. Yeah. And so if this episode at all speaks to anybody, if it resonates, please feel free to share it with somebody who's ready to reclaim their inner authority and their body wisdom. And until next time, we love you. Thank you so much. Stay empowered, stay embodied, and keep on listening inwards. Thank you, Kira. And then if people want to reach you, can you tell us the best way to get to you?
So my website is astrologyofhealth.com. And there's lots of things on there. There's lots of free things on there as well, and all kinds of information. You can spend hours there just playing around. And on socials, I'm the same, Astrology of Health.
Oh my goodness. We look forward to like going to your website, to getting information and accessing you. Thank you so much for sharing time space with us. A blessed, healthy, radiant 2026 to you, my new friend. Thank you so much. Empowerment isn't something that you force. It's what emerges when you live in alignment with your authentic frequency. Your light is the expression of your soul, embodied through your presence and your choices. And when your light leads, your empowerment grows. Until next time, stay embodied, stay aligned, and keep letting your light lead.